Hi. So, welcome to yet another episode on Solve My Stress. We were talking about stress all these days, and it appeared to be kind of vague. So, my question to all of you is, how do you know you're stressed? Of course, the fact remains that many of us, we don't even know that we are stressed. I hear a lot of people telling me, oh, I suddenly realized my blood pressure has been shooting up. My parameters are abnormal. My heart rate is increasing. My blood sugar is rising. Do you really wait till then to know that you're stressed out? Or do you know it a little earlier? Your body bears the brunt of the stress. And not just your body, your relationships, your finances, a lot of a situation around you. Your children could bear the brunt of your stress. However, the earliest sign to recognize that you're stressed is through your body, and you do not have to go to any laboratory testing. You do not have to spend on expensive instruments. I'm not saying that these are not needed. Much before your physiology goes through a change, your body will start screaming. You'll feel a kind of uneasiness in your throat area or chest area or head area, or you'll get some unusual symptoms, sleep disturbances, appetite changes, and you may pass it off thinking it's transient. Yes, of course, they will be transient. However, repeated stress will definitely show up in your body. And what appeared to be simple, transient changes can become a long term chronic illness. I would suggest never wait till then. What you need to do is start picking up small little symptoms that you go through it. So I'm going to enumerate a few things. So where do you feel stressed? Do you feel it in forehead? So if you feel heaviness in your forehead, that means that somewhere you need a little more clarity. And the clarity only can come if you just calm down, be at peace, and allow all the clarity to emerge. Things which are being shown to you by the universe is not really easy to conceive at this moment, and hence you feel a kind of overloading of information coming from subtle forces. It would be a good idea to simply just relax, meditate, take deep breath, or say affirmations which are specifically for your third eye chakra and especially front third eye chakra. And you will feel the whole stressful experience easing out. Not only that, you will also get some sort of clarity in larger vision, and you'll be able to align and synchronize your vision with the larger vision. If you have stress in your temples, this temples, that means you're going through some conflict at this moment. There would be quite a few options, or at least two options, and you find it difficult to choose between. What if I make a mistake? What if I miss out on the other option? What if I get blamed for taking this option? So, if these are the questions in your mind, you might just eventually not really take the call and might just choose to remain in absolute confusion and conflict. And that can eventually create a stress for you. If you have stress in your upper eyelids, which is very common. So if your upper eyelids are hurting, probably there are a few things you don't want to see. You would prefer closing your eyes. You wish you didn't see things the way they were. And you wish that you were away from all this situation. So if you don't like what you perceive, you often create and collect stress in and around your upper eyelids. And if you feel stress in the lower eyelids, probably you have some unresolved guilt and grief, not guilt, grief. So the grief often creates stress in the lower eyelid. Now, what is grief? Grief could be because of the loss or separation or sudden disappearance of something, a human, an animal, or certain experiences in your life. And you often get troubled, and the experience is somewhere generalized as grief. So if you feel stressed in your lower eyelids, you often might be going through some grief that you need to address. You also might feel stress in your jaw area, the this side of jaw and maybe this side of jaw. These are anger related. Either you're getting affected by others' anger, or maybe you're getting affected by your own anger. If you have stress, say, in the beginning of the eyebrows over here, probably you're finding it difficulty in expressing yourself or allowing others to express themselves. And you need to sort that out. And commonest point on the face where you collect stress is sometimes the cheeks. That's because of the irritation. You can ease the level of irritation that you have, and the level of stress will reduce. So that's about face. Of course, there are several points in and around neck and shoulders. We will talk about them a little later. Okay, so so far, any question from anyone? No? Everyone seems to be okay and knowing about it. Okay, so now I'm going to ask, where do you feel stress? And what do you make out of it? Anyone? Generally, what is the pattern?
So, ma'am, it all depends on the circumstances.
Okay.
वेरी सिंपल. कल घर में डिनर था, तो वो इतने लोगों का 15-20 लोगों का डिनर था, तो वही एक मुद्दा था कि वो मैनेज हो जाए. अब स्ट्रेस बोलूं तो मुझे नहीं पता कि मुझे क्या वर्ड यूज करना चाहिए. बट वो चीजें अच्छे से मैनेज हो जाएं, दैट वाज द मेन थॉट फॉर्म. हाँ, हम शायद उसी को स्ट्रेस बोलते हैं कि आई वाज स्ट्रेसफुल, कि सब कुछ अच्छे से हो जाए.
You were stressful or you were stressed out?
What is the difference? What is the difference? I don't know the difference.
When you're being stressful, the stress others bear the brunt of your stress.
Okay. No, I was stressed out.
You were stressed out. Okay. Yeah. I asked a corporate guy, I said, do you feel stress? He says, I don't take stress. I give stress to others.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. No, we were just generally talking about where do you feel stress generally? Like when do you know you're stressed out? That was the topic you joined perhaps later. So, some people feel heaviness in the chest. Some people feel tiredness in the shoulders. Some people feel, stiffness in the neck. Some people feel kind of a pressure on the head. So everybody's got their own stress points. So
Okay.
based on that, what happens when you get stressed out, and what are the things that often stress you out? Of course, there are a lot of people who don't feel anything and they don't get apparent signs of stress till the time the body eventually gives up all of a sudden. And that's when they realize that they've been storing the stress since such a long time. So, amongst the listeners, I see a lot of senior radical students. So they all know which point and what is the causative thought behind that stress. However, if there is any question so far, we can address that before we go to a usual favorite, radical chakra reading.
So, ma'am, what I am getting is stress. The layer behind the stress is helplessness. If I somewhere feel helplessness, the stress will come automatically.
Yeah. So it could be for you. Okay.
Okay.
So for some people, it may not be helplessness. Okay. It could be, say, for example, inability to take a decision. I mean, I can help myself, but there are too many decisions, too many options. Now that can stress me out. Okay. It could be, say, for example, um, grieving for someone. You know, that that person is not going to come back ever. Okay. And you don't want that person to come back, but there is a vacuum. And there's some sort of benumbed feeling, and that can stress you out. So, yes, the commonest cause could be helplessness, especially in modern life, uh, where you often go through helplessness, I guess. Very often. Yes, Nekta.
Ma'am, I think for me, I sense a bit of stress here right now around the temples and around my forehead, around my entire forehead. But generally, I think boundaries are a point of stress for me.
Boundaries. You feel
Yes.
people do not respect your boundaries?
Yes. Yes. I think that from childhood, I didn't know how to say no. Now I've learned, I'm learning. And I feel that, the boundaries I put are not really respected. And I don't know if I even know how to lay it properly. I think my child has been the biggest learning. For me, I have learned through her because some boundaries are absolutely necessary. But in general, I think that topic itself sort of stresses me out. Just the
Ah,
word boundaries itself is stressful for me.
okay. Let's not talk about the boundaries, and let's talk about horizons.
Okay.
What is the difference?
Horizon, I think, is the farthest you can see. To me, it is the
Okay.
farthest that I can see.
How much is the stress over here?
Mm, it's it's about 4 or 5 right now.
Okay. And just say, I expand my vision and expand my horizon.
I expand my vision, expand my horizon. I expand my vision and I expand my horizon. Expand my vision and my horizon. I see the bones of a snake. Snake don't have bones, but I feel like a skeletal snake that is.
And what is the snake skeleton for you?
I think right now what it's representing is rising in something,
Okay.
and I'm warm all over. Like I'm warm all over right now.
Yeah. And how's the stress on the forehead?
Actually, much better.
That's it.
I expand my vision and I expand my horizons. Wow. Thank you, ma'am.
You know, oceans don't need boundaries.
Sorry?
Oceans don't need boundaries. Ponds and lakes do.
So nicely said. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you.
Just feel like that ocean.
What was the correlation of all this love and this and the boundary and the horizon?
Correlations, people get trouble when their boundaries are not respected. Okay. What they don't realize is it's okay to set boundaries. Okay. When you're just a pond, when you're just a lake, then set the boundaries. Okay. When you're just a swimming pool, you'll need a boundary. Right? But it's time to expand.
Can I ask further now?
Of course, yes, yes.
Okay, so leaving the adult who is actually on my mind right now, if I take my child itself, like if I don't have a basic boundary of, you sleep by 10 at least. It's not you have to sleep at 10 or at 10:30. You come to bed by 10 and then you follow your own. That is like that's like a basic boundary. I'm not putting too much, to be honest. I think I'm quite aware. I've let go of a lot of the control issues, but I feel like some basic boundaries are needed. Others, they're going to do just anything and everything. So,
do you set that boundary for father of the child?
no. Yeah, I understand. No.
Okay. So if both of you go to bed by 10, okay,
The child
will eventually feel so bored and will just
modeling, basically.
I don't think I had to ever tell my children go to sleep early or wake up early. No, because there's no scope of further entertainment. So what do they do? So they sleep early. If they sleep early, they wake up early.
Yeah.
And don't wake them up.
Okay.
Don't wake them up. Let them miss a couple of days of school, but that will help them in the life to get disciplined on their own.
And if they're happy about missing school,
How many days? Let them sit for 3-4 days. They'll get so bored. Don't give extra entertainment at home.
yeah. Noted, understood.
Those 3 or 4 wasted days will be so helpful eventually because they will know how to discipline themselves. If the discipline that comes because of the authorities, they will never be leaders. It's got to come from within.
I understand.
Yeah, but apply.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I will. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. I know it sounds so easy to say over the internet, but trust that these are the things I have used for myself. I don't think I've ever bothered to wake them up. They knew that mom's not going to wake up, so it's their responsibility to set an alarm, keep the uniform ready in the night. Because I do not really reach out. I said, you want help? Tell me a day before, not on the same day. Not
But
because
getting the other adults on par with this is the
sorry?
Getting the other adults on par with this is the only concern that I have.
No,
Yeah.
eventually it would be good. We have a need to be needed.
I understand.
Yep. Okay. So where do we collect stress? That was the topic for today, for those who joined late. So we have here Dr. Reena Jani. Reena, would you love to just show up, or you want to just pass this time?
Atman, I'm in the clinic, so
You're in the clinic right now.
yeah.
Okay, no problem. But would you like to just share what kind of stresses you generally come across in your homeopathic practice?
Stress is mainly, as you said, the need to be needed. The stresses I have come across basically because of the parents or because of the children, basically.
Mhm.
They very much worried about them.
Mhm.
I mean, I always tell them about the self-love because their priority comes the last. They generally come up with the family members or family people or any adult in the family or any children in the family. Generally, that's what I've found. And generally, the stress I have come across in my practice, either in the spine, mainly the lower spine,
Uh-huh.
yeah, and the calf muscles
Ah.
and the tendo-Achilles joint.
Hmm.
So, kind of bearing the brunt of the whole family or the whole.
Yeah.
So, like when I tell them about this, like, they said, "How do you know?" I said, "All thanks to Atman."
Thanks to Radical, I guess.
Yeah, thanks to Radical, of course.
Yeah.
These are the common things.
Huh.
And
Okay.
second thing I would like to say about the psychosomatic stresses,
Mhm.
mainly eczema and psoriasis. And nowadays, I'm coming across many people with psoriasis, mainly in the scalp, which is leading to alopecia.
Oh.
Yeah. Right now, I'm treating 3 people with the same complaint.
Ah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. And like all 3 are working in the film industry. So it's very difficult for them having a psoriasis in the scalp.
I get. Oh, I know another artist who's got psoriasis in the scalp.
Oh, acha, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know that. Thank you. Thank you, Reena.
Thank you, Atman. Thank you.
All right. So if there are no other questions, maybe we'll just wind up with one reading. We have time for one reading. Who would like to come forward?
Atman, me?
Okay. Let's take one reading for Dr. Reena. So the reading, the subject is, what are you stressed about? Okay. So let's see. This is as of now. Huh?
Okay.
Um, So my attention goes on CR15, right honor chakra. Reminder to let go of the emotional effect of the past incidents which dishonored you. Okay. So probably there's still some lingering effect of some dishonor you experienced in the recent past or remote past, which you need to just let go of.
Okay. Okay. I'll
Not,
ponder
you're
upon
not
it.
get affected. Okay.
Yes,
So
definitely. Thank you
that's
so much.
yeah. All right. Okay. So we will meet again tomorrow at 6 p.m. Do not forget, over this weekend, we have a marathon meet on Solve Your Stress. And there are industry experts who are going to address you and teach you a lot about stress. Do not miss this opportunity. Attend as many sessions as you can. Keep yourself free over this weekend. And of course, invite all your friends and relatives. Let's together create a society which is easygoing, lesser stressed, and more productive, more smiling, and more happy. All right. So see you at 6 p.m. Bye-bye.